This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
Postal worker killed and police need your help. Coming up on the news at noon, what we know so far about a mail carrier gunned down while she was on the job and a reward now being offered for information. But before we get to our top stories for today, we got to get a check of your forecast. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is joining me this midday from his home. And Todd, I was outside a little bit earlier this morning, finally left this building, and it is a beautiful Tuesday.
It really is, Lauren. It's warm. It's, in fact, warmer right now at 70 degrees than it was throughout the entire day yesterday. And here we are just at the noon hour. And these temperatures, they will continue to warm throughout the afternoon hours with skies that'll be partly to mostly cloudy across the area. We'll kind of toggle back and forth as the day goes on. But we are going to remain dry for the most part. I can't rule out the chance of maybe a stray shower here this afternoon, but any threat of storms does not arrive until later tonight. There's the live look from downtown to the north, and you can see that hazy sunshine will eventually turn partly cloudy and then eventually mostly cloudy. But here is the line of storms trying to get together, and it's along a cold front, and there's a much better chance of severe weather today across Illinois and Missouri in this area I've circled than there is here in central Indiana. And that's just because the storms will be approaching that area during the peak heating of the day. They arrive here after the sun sets. There's a marginal risk on the extreme western portion of the state from the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see these storms as they start to roll in. It's just a stray shower by the time we get to the evening hours, but the models have been trending slower with these storms as they roll in here. It's turning into more of an overnight event for us, but a lot of times these fronts speed up a little quicker than the models indicate. So I would say anytime after we get closer to that midnight hour, there will be the chance for some severe storms. Wind the main threat. We'll talk a lot more about them in detail for you coming up in Maine Weather in just a few minutes. Lauren.
Todd, thank you. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service is now offering a $50,000 reward for information on the person who shot and killed a postal worker. Police are still investigating a shooting that happened Monday afternoon as 45-year-old Angela Summers was delivering mail on the east side of Indianapolis. Officers say that Summers died at a hospital following a shooting near Denny Street in Michigan. Both Metro Police and the Postal Service inspection are still investigating. If you have any information that can help investigators, you can leave an anonymous tip right now with Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. Also this midday, homicide detectives are still investigating a man's death on Indy's west side. Police were called to Herschel Avenue, just east of Riverside Park, around 11 last night on reports of a suspicious vehicle in an alley. When they arrived, they found 31-year-old Eric Whitfield suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Whitfield was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators do not know what led to this shooting. And the latest numbers on the COVID-19 pandemic are out from the state health department, and those numbers are still growing. 57 new deaths reported over the last 24 hours, along with 650 new positive tests. That means Indiana has now surpassed 900 deaths and 16,000 total cases. We'll hear more about those numbers and the state's response during Governor Holcomb's daily press briefing. You can watch that at 2:30. It's this afternoon right here on RTV6. The race is on for many small businesses across the country to apply for the Paycheck Protection Program. The latest round of federal loans for small businesses was hampered by technical problems, even as some states are starting to let businesses reopen. ABC's Alex Perche has more right now from Washington.
The new round of government funding, $310 billion poured into the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses, got off to a rocky start. The online loan application process plagued with technical issues. There's already a massive backlog after the first round of funding ran out in just 13 days. Several publicly traded companies accessed those funds, leaving small businesses without any aid. This second PPP was supposed to fix that. In California, comic book store owner Joe Field has been trying to get a loan for weeks.
Funding is going to help pay for some of the expenses that we've incurred through this, but it's not going to get anywhere close to paying for all the losses that we've incurred.
The PPP, part of a renewed push to reopen America, coming straight from the president.
There's a hunger for getting our country back, and it's happening.
A growing number of states taking the president's advice, trying to get businesses and employees back to work.
We're working diligently to get South Carolina back to work, to take us to where we were before and beyond, but we must do so safely.
Even though some companies are legally able to open, they're choosing not to.
We don't feel safe. Number one is safety.
Trying to avoid sites like this. From an American Airlines flight from New York to Charlotte, that was about 85% full. American, United, and Delta are now mandating masks for flight attendants. JetBlue taking it a step further, also requiring masks for customers during travel. Also, some United Auto workers are returning to work Monday at some Ford and GM plants with new safety protocols in place, temperature checks, and social distancing. Work has been idle since mid-March due to COVID-19 concerns. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Purdue University is moving forward with plans to have students come back on campus in typical numbers by this fall. On Good Morning America today, Purdue President Mitch Daniels says it's because younger people are not as much at risk of death from the coronavirus as older people. But Daniels says they are not taking people at higher risk for the virus for granted.
Our problem, and it's a big one, will be to see if we can devise ways to protect those who are vulnerable, those who are older, those who have various associated comorbidities from the virus. And it'll take every day between now and the fall to make those preparations and those changes, and that's why we are trying to start now.
Well, Daniels has formed a committee of medical experts and others to work on ways of separating those who are vulnerable, as well as contact tracing for people who are infected. As we get on track to overcome this pandemic and the financial and emotional ripple effects, we're always looking at ways Hoosiers are rebounding when it comes to mental health and coping. At IU Health, psychologists have been holding virtual sessions to adhere to social distancing guidelines. Therapists tell RTV6 their clients are concerned about the number of issues, including cancellations of trips, worrying about the health of their loved ones. And Dr. Daniel Henderson is also addressing concerns for those who may be worried when people start mingling again.
As best you can, trying to recognize what it is that you're experiencing. Is it anxiety, fear, feeling overwhelmed? Is it maybe, grief, anger? What is it that you're experiencing? And if you can, what are some thoughts associated with that? Is it, again, thoughts about concern about your own well-being, the well-being of others? Trying to tune into that, and then as best you can, seeking out reputable sources and resources to guide you in that process.
Dr. Henderson recommends following guidelines from the CDC and the World Health Organization when it comes to returning to those social situations. Tens of thousands of Hoosiers are looking for work, but there are people who are hiring right now. Coming up, we've got information on how a big department with the city of Indianapolis has a help wanted sign up right now. Todd.
And Lauren, a beautiful day in progress here across central Indiana, but there is the chance of storms later on this evening. Those storm chances will build as we get closer to 10 p.m. into the overnight hours. The main threat will be damaging wind. A little sliver of the western portion of the state under marginal risk for severe weather. We'll talk all about it in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
Of Homes every Sunday morning at 11:30.
Through this midday, it's now easier for you to request a mail-in absentee ballot for the June primary. The State Election Division has added a link where you can apply for the absentee ballot right on the website. In the past, you had to print out an application for an absentee ballot, mail that into your county election office, and then wait for them to send the ballot back to you. Now you can just go to the website on your screen, indianavoters.com. You enter your voter information in the system, and you'll find a link to apply for the absentee ballot. The deadline to apply for those ballots is May 21st. If you're amongst the thousands of Hoosiers looking for work right now, the Department of Public Works in Indianapolis is hiring. DPW says it currently has 12 open positions in operation. There are jobs such as crew leader, maintenance operations, and heavy equipment technicians, and refuse collection drivers. Now, you must have a high school diploma and live in Marion County, and most of the positions require you to have a Class B commercial driver's license. You can find out more about the other job postings all around central Indiana right now by going to hiringhoosiers.com. Parts of the travel industry are getting federal help to get past this economic slowdown, but one part of that industry says it's being overlooked. Up next, how they hope the government isn't missing the bus when it comes to that stimulus money. We'll be right back.
518-2343.
Welcome back. The travel industry has been hit hard by this pandemic, but not all businesses are benefiting from government support. RTV6's Cameron Riddle introduces you to the owner of a local bus company who hopes that his industry isn't getting left behind.
Go stand along any major street and you'd be hard-pressed to spot a single school bus or motor coach on the road. John Miller owns and operates both at his family-owned company, Miller Transportation.
What has the coronavirus done for us? We were running 75 miles an hour. I don't want to break the speed limit. We were running 70 miles an hour, and we were on the governor. And then, shut down.
Miller Transportation operates in Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, with Indiana carrying the most of their business and employees. Miller has had to furlough nearly all of his staff, including roughly 200 Hoosiers. For Miller, the large majority of business comes from charter schools. He says, forget other bus companies. Coronavirus is now his biggest competitor and disruptor.
A lot of our contracts, the payment just stopped. They weren't paying the drivers. They weren't paying nothing. There was no makeups. We go back and look at our contracts, and it was like, our contracts were kind of a little soft in that we didn't anticipate, the fact that maybe kids wouldn't go to school.
Miller says the government assistance that helps small businesses doesn't quite fit the bill for transportation companies, who not only have to pay employees, but also have to pay for buses, insurance, and office rent. He says while the bus industry is right behind airlines for the most passengers per year, he's not holding his breath for the government to bail out the country's 3,000 bus companies. Meanwhile, airlines are taking advantage of about $25 billion in assistance.
It's kind of like when in that movie where the ants are against the grasshoppers or whatever, There's an awful lot of us, but there's none that are really that big that carry that much weight. Whereas the airline, man, there's some big boys.
Miller is now left hoping that better health brings a better economy.
I don't think our business is going to come back until they take death off the table. That's some scary stuff.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Cameron, thank you. It is time to take a turn now to our forecast. Todd Glosson is standing by with a pretty great Tuesday. Looks like right next to you, Todd, we have some sunny skies on the camera.
Yeah, there are sunny skies, and it's not only behind me pointing to the north. As this camera is, Lauren, it's all across central Indiana, and with that sunshine, we've seen temperatures today climb all the way up into the 70-degree range already at this noon hour. So that is the good news going forward, as we'll continue to see these temperatures warm just a little bit more. Right at 70 in Indianapolis, as well as Greenwood. 71 is the current temperature in Bloomington. Highs today will be topping off in the 70s for everybody, as warm as 77 in Lafayette, and it's not out of the question if we could keep the sunshine around long enough that we could see high temperatures today, top 80 degrees in some locations. And enjoy this warmth, because it's all going to come crashing down as we work our way into the overnight hours. That's when a cold front will come through, and that's going to ramp up the rain chances tonight and eventually into the overnight hours. And the bulk of the rainfall and potential for some stronger storms will be from midnight onwards. So today you can get out and about this afternoon or this evening. Can't completely rule out the chance of maybe a stray shower, but they should be few and far between this afternoon. But what we'll wait on is this cold front that is off to our west. The area of low pressure is in Minneapolis, but the cold front trails all the way down towards Kansas City, and it's this that's going to start to head in our direction as we work our way throughout the remainder of the evening hours. Here is the timeline using TrueCast. And since this storm is going to be coming in at night after sunset here in central Indiana, we're going to miss out on the worst of the severe weather. It could be a pretty active afternoon across parts of Iowa and Illinois today. But here's this front coming through, approaching the metro area between about midnight and 1 a.m. There will still likely be some strong storms, so make sure you have that Storm Shield app downloaded on your phone as this line comes in, because many of you will be sleeping. That way, if there's any warnings that are issued for your neighborhood, you will be alerted to them. And then, of course, you can tune into RTV6 if we do get any of those warnings. We'll let you know throughout the overnight hours as well. And then as we go throughout the tomorrow morning time frame into the afternoon, we transition into just general rain across the area. So the severe threat is just late tonight. The marginal risk for parts of the area. By far the main threat would be damaging wind with these storms as they move in. Can't completely maybe rule out the chance of a brief isolated tornado, but that's pretty low on the spectrum here of as far as the severe threat Let's go. Now, tomorrow's the wettest day of the week as we're dealing with showers, 63. Thursday, we deal with showers in the morning. It's still cool with temperatures right around 55 degrees. But once we get past that, Lauren, turns into a great Friday, 65 with mostly sunny skies. And as we transition into the weekend, the first weekend of May, believe it or not, it's going to be above normal temperature-wise. 76 on Saturday should be a terrific day. Just a chance of a few spotty showers as we get into the day on Sunday. So overall, pretty nice forecast. Just have to get through some storms tonight and then some rain showers throughout the day tomorrow.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, RTV6's We're Open Indy initiative continues to showcase businesses open and ready to serve you during this pandemic. Today, our Brad Brown shows us what's on the menu at a place that brings Cajun country right here to central Indiana.
You could walk right by this little shop on the south end of Broad Ripple, but those in the know that some of Indy's best food is inside.
Our customers have been so understanding and so generous with the staff. And man, I'm lucky I got these few kids that still want to work. This guy, that they still, are here working and making it happen.
This first location of Yats opened in 2001. Now they're all over the area. While some of those locations are closed for now, the ones that are open keep the Bayou flavors flowing.
Just wanted to, get grounded somewhere and just be in business where, it was not complicated and it could make a living and just kind of get along.
Joe is at the heart of it all, one of the great characters of Indy's restaurant community.
I don't know, like this guy, where are you going with that bicycle, man? What? The guy in here earlier, he wanted to buy a couple $100 worth of gift certificates. And I said, oh, man, we're okay. What if I die? I said, you're going to get jugged for the $200.
A little bit Cajun, a little bit Creole. Even if you don't know what it is, once you taste Yats, chances are you'll be back.
A lot of this stuff was from my mother, and people, they were cooks. Everybody was with my sister's a great cook, The white chili's from my wife. She's from Wisconsin. I don't know what happened there.
And an expert tip, get the extra bread.
The people, that's one of the things I love about Indiana, I love about Indianapolis, is the people, Next month, they'll be doing this for 50 years or half a century. So many times the people are really grateful that you're open. They leave and they say, thank you for being here. Thank you for being open.
Joe says he has no plans of slowing down anytime soon, wants to just keep on serving his customers as long as he can. Along with takeout, Yats is offering Pop Your Trunk curbside pickup at most of their locations. You can find that information and order online on their website. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
All right, Brad, thank you so much. Well, when we come back here, it is time for our Pet of the Week. And we want you to meet Diggity. Look at this sweet, loving boy looking for a forever home. And it might be the perfect time to introduce a new family member into your home. So we'll show you how you can adopt Diggity and a little bit more about him. That is all coming up when we come back after this short break. Stick around.
Keller and Keller.
Well, it's Tuesday here on the news at noon, and that means it's time to feature our Pet of the Week from Indy Humane. Obviously, we can't have him in studio today, but we have some pictures, and you might be able to take home this guy, Diggity. He's a sweet 4-year-old boy who was adopted last week, but sadly, he was returned the next day because of his size. He is quite big, as you can see here in this picture, so he may not be the perfect fit for your apartment, so maybe if you have a little more space. He's a big boy, but he is a complete teddy bear. Diggity here likes to be an indoor dog. He does great on a leash though, and does well with other dogs and is great with children. Diggity's adoption fee is $300. You can schedule an appointment to meet him and see if he's right for your home right now by going to indyhumane.org. And Todd, I don't know if you can see your screen, but he is a cute one.
I was watching him. He's a big one, but he's cute. Just look at that face, and he looks like he's nice and fluffy, too. He's really good dog to cuddle up with. All right, outside right now, it's great. We have plenty of sunshine. A cold front off to our west, though, brings storms closer to midnight. Join Kevin Gregory this evening. He'll have the latest as these storms approach central Indiana.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Have a great day.